Richard, should the Warriors still be the favorites in the West?
Yes. And it's not even close. They should be the favorite, not in the West, in the NBA. You look at it, they've been to the finals 3 straight times. They've won 2 out of 3 championships. They were a shot away from winning 3 straight championships. And Houston has to still get there. Houston, you have your second best player that's never played in the conference finals. You have James Harden, who has been one of the top players in the NBA the last, 5 years, and probably will win the MVP. But they haven't proven anything.
Right.
So you're going to tell me that the defending champion and the 3-time finalist, because you won 5, 6 more games than them over the regular season, now you're the favorite? I'm not taking that bet. Now, can Houston beat them? Without a doubt. Will they? If I was a betting man, I would bet on Golden State all the way.
Yeah. I don't believe they can beat them if Steph Curry is healthy. And I've said this, I like the matchup, and Daryl Morey has built this roster trying to be able to compete, try to outshoot Golden State. But Kevin Durant is the Warriors' best player. Steph is the most important.
Agreed.
The likelihood of all 3 of those guys, because what we're seeing now without Steph, Klay Thompson is going bonkers.
Yeah.
And that's why, in San Antonio, yeah, they're undermanned. But you can't let both of those guys, if Kevin gets 40, you can live with that because it's hard to stop him. But you can't let Kevin go get 32 and then Klay go get 34. You're not going to win. And then you throw Steph back into that lineup. Steph is constantly moving. There are some teams take bad shots. Kevin, Steph, and Klay, there's not a bad shot. 30 and in is a great shot for them. And he's constantly moving, Skip. And so when shots aren't falling, they still got a guy and 7 foot tall, that monster, that you go down there and put his back to the basket, and he can shoot over everybody in the NBA. And that's what they did last year, because there were times you guys were making comebacks. In Game 5, every comeback, KD snuffed it out. Because even when KD said, I don't care what y'all
He's the best player on the planet. We all know that.
Jeff, you look at it. Jeff, go ahead. Jeff, go ahead. Tell it, Jeff.
Wait. Who was the Finals MVP?
No, Jeff.
Help me out.
Maybe
it was Richard. I can't.
No, wait a second. That's so funny because I remember when Karl Malone won the MVP and then Jordan, murdered him in the finals. Kevin Durant had the best finals, right? And it's amazing. You say who was finals MVP. LeBron did something that had never been done in the history of our game. He averaged a triple-double. Now.
You lost in 5 games.
Yeah, we lost in 5 games. Now, that big shot that he hit, that dribble-up 3 that he hit, Kyle Korver, one of the greatest shooters in the history of this game, has a corner 3, doesn't go in.
How many of those has he shot in a pivotal game? What was that, 3?
I think it was the right play. We tip our hats to them.
Wait, you've been raving about LeBron James being the MVP this year. If he has the ball in his hands, and certainly on the play with Iguodala, you just take him to the rack. You just.
But Iguodala,
and that's the thing. You make the right play. You make the right play. You make the right play, and the right play. And I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't like he threw it to me in the corner. It wasn't like he threw it to.
How many times has Kyle Korver shot that shot?
I think Kyle Korver has shot that shot enough, right? Not in that moment, but how many times has KD hit that shot that he hit right after? KD had not hit that shot many times because KD had never been he'd only been in the finals 1 time, and he lost to Bron.
And
right?
KD said, it's my turn, and I got next.
But you can't judge who is the best player on the planet off of one season. It's a body of work. And the body of work this year for Bron is more impressive than KD, right? So you can't say, oh, well, he outdueled him. Now there is other things going on, but
no, I don't know about the body of work because there is this thing called defense, and LeBron plays none of it anymore, and it bothers me. It offends my eye to watch him not play defense. He plays center field. He stands under the basket in the middle of the lane and just plays free safety.
We say this, and James Harden is the favorite for the MVP.
Okay. But in defensive win shares.
We say this.
Individual defensive win shares. James Harden's like 40th. LeBron's 310th.
Win shares. Okay. Defensive win shares. But you talk. That's a tough one for me to. And look, even Steph Curry, right? One of the best defensive teams in this league, percentage-wise, amazing. They spend an entire game and series hiding him. He doesn't guard his position consistently. We put him in pick and roll every single play. Didn't matter. And
Got
if
it. No,
and if I'm in the
with
corner,
you.
they tried to put him on me, I would go stand on the block and make him try and box me out in case his shot goes off. So to say that Bron is not the best player on the planet, now Kevin Durant is not far off. James Harden, not far off.
But Kevin Durant plays defense because he did become their rim protector, especially last year.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the Golden State
Where he's
system.
at.
With the Golden State system, where you talked about how they move. One of the things that Kevin said was that it took him a while to understand what they needed him to do on the offensive end. He said in Golden State, where movement is mandatory. Movement is mandatory. You know, even Kawhi Leonard, who, you know, I know he's had an up and down year. Kawhi Leonard has never had 8 or more assists in his career. Never had 8 or more assists in career. Kawhi's job is to defend and to score the ball. We don't have to, because the Spurs system is going to get shots for everyone else. Bron has to step on the court and say, I got to get you a shot, I got to get you a shot, I got to get you a shot. Then I got to score 25 points myself.
And
I got to rebound the ball.
So I'm not going to defend.
I'm not saying I'm not going to defend. It's just trying to do everything all the time and then to pick something to be critical of him. I know,
but it's not just something to be critical. It's half the game to me, and it's
more than half.
It's more than. I agree.
More than half.
But nobody has had to have on his plate in the history of the game.
But he was born gifted passer. He's the best passer in basketball to this day. There's nobody better. Nobody anticipates, feels, sees it better than LeBron does. That's his gift. Yeah. But you have to play both ends if you're going to win championships. And right now, his team, thanks in large part to him, is second to last in team defense. That's not the formula. That's not the recipe for winning championships.
Agreed, and that's why their team is in the 3rd spot. And it's not just him. I think it's collectively as a team.
I agree.
You look at our team in the prior 2 years, right? We fired David Blatt. Then last year we weren't great, but as soon as we got to that postseason, our defensive mindset changed because you had guys that had been in that pie, and it's like, all right, here we go. Let's turn. And it's not flipping a switch, but it's like, I have another level. It's like, do you have another level of defense? Do you have another level of focus? And that's what each round of the playoffs, first round, each game in each round, the level of focus continues to improve. And I think for Bron, I think he plays better defense. But I think for him also, we used to do this with many, many years ago. Jason Kidd had the responsibility of guarding Tony Parker in the finals. And it was a struggle. It was a struggle because Tony's running around. J. Kidd has to facilitate for everyone on our team. And so what did we do? We decided to put Kerry Kittles on Tony Parker, and then we put Jason Kidd on Bruce Bowen. Let you rest a little bit. You're going to have to do so much for everyone. So if you're burning yourself out on defense, then our offense is going to suffer. Everything. You're going to suffer. So it's happened over the course of the NBA. It's happened over the course of my 15,
But we have seen
16
moments
years.
back in LeBron's younger days when he took Tony Parker and took him out of the game in a finals game. I've witnessed where I said, that's unbelievable.
And he had D. Wade, and he had other guys, and he had other guys and Chris Bosh, he had other guys that can carry that load. Mike Miller, Shane Beck. He had other guys that can hit shots, create shots, and do things. It's like, hey, I'm going to take this guy out, D. Wade. D. Wade, you need to create and score for everyone else.
Back to the first thing you said on this show today, at some point, you have to slow down Oladipo because he's serious. He has arrived. This was his breakout year. He's not LeBron James. He's not a superstar, but he is a star in this league.
Yes, he is.
That team is 6 games better than it was with Paul George as the solo star of the team.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you look at the rest of the team, and they're pretty good because they're extremely well coached, and they're not afraid of the Cavaliers because they've beaten them 4 out of 5 times. So as second games of the playoffs go, this is a pretty big deal tonight because you don't want to go 0-2 back to where you said the crowd is pretty rough, right?
Yeah, Indiana's a good place.
So this is just me. If LeBron is still that guy in his 15th season, for stretches tonight, he says, I got Oladipo. And I know it's a lot to ask, but you're still telling me he's the best player on the planet. He can guard Oladipo if he puts his mind to it. I believe he looks great. He's in great condition.
But he is. But to your point, would we say, James Harden, go guard Oladipo? That's what your team needs. Would we say Kevin Durant, go guard Oladipo? No, we would not.
Or go guard Anthony Davis.
And even if they did, even if they said, Kevin, we need you, who could be, before his injuries, he was up there for Defensive Player of the Year. I think it's Rudy Gobert. So he was up there for that. So if we're like, Kevin, we need you to go do this, it's fine because he got Steph that's going to hit shots. He got Klay, that guy. He's got all these guys. Like, yo, if that's what you guys need me to do to sacrifice for this series, if Bron sacrifices that for this series, who else
gonna
on
score
that
or
team?
facilitate?
And again, I like all of the Cavs roster. Kevin Love. I love the roster that they put together, and I believe that these guys will play well. I think before the series over, we're going to see Tristan Thompson because Tristan, who has been out of the rotation, he knows what it takes.
He does.
And now you have an opportunity with everything that's going on and you not being in the rotation to now come in and play in this game and have an impact. I think this, as the series progresses, I think you have an opportunity to play him and be like, hey, we're going to go with guys that have been in this fire that understand these moments.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.